My dad, a widower, married Jane, a widow, when I, 18 male, was 8. Jane had a daughter, Lucy, who's 10 weeks younger than me. Because we were so close in age, my dad and Jane found it fun to call us twins and to jokingly talk about us as though we were a pair. Lucy and I got along okay at first, but she always had anxiety and mental health issues and latched on to me. She confessed to me a few times that she liked being called my twin because it meant we would always be together, and I would always act like a big brother to her. I used to find how she talked really weird. I tried not to let it come between us, but when we were 12, she told me to forget my mom existed because it meant a bigger family for her. I started to pull away from her. The reason she said it? She felt I should appreciate that having a bigger family with a sibling made her feel more secure. Her words annoyed me, and I lost all interest in caring about her then. Over the years, I told Dad and Jane that their calling us twins bothered me. They brushed it off. Sometimes Jane would act annoyed, and maybe she was offended that it bothered me so much. It made me feel trapped. I said this in family therapy. We all did, and they were unhappy that I was ignoring Lucy by then and refusing to spend time with her as siblings or as friends. Family therapy was crappy. I began counting down the days until graduation, and 4 years later, on the day of my graduation, I moved out of state with my maternal grandmom and granddad for the summer. I also changed my college plans without telling my dad, and I'll be going to community college and working. Lucy and I were meant to be going to the same college. She's moving out soon. She'll be living on campus. Lucy wanted to come to stay with me for a while before, and for me to help her adjust to life away from home. Dad asked me about it when I didn't reply to Lucy. I told him my grandparents would not let her live here, and I didn't want to leave. We argued over it. I revealed I had changed my college plans. He brought up the twin thing and said I had sacrificed Lucy's college experience. I told him that I was not a twin, never was a twin, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice my college experience for her. I told him I didn't care if this meant she won't be able to make it through college. I'm not her keeper. I'm not her friend, and I'm not going to take responsibility for her. My dad and Jane are angry. Lucy sent me a long text asking why I pulled away from her and why I won't be the big brother she needs. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You aren't her emotional support human. That situation seems like a nightmare for actual twins. I can't imagine how weird and annoying that would be with a regular sibling, let alone a step-sibling. Your parents really ruined it for both of you. I hope in the future, Lucy will understand and try to respect your boundaries, because there's no hope for a sibling relationship without that realization on Lucy's end. Emotional support human? Brilliant. You don't fix anxiety by putting a Band-Aid on it. She needs to be able to function on her own. Your dad and stepmom aren't going to live forever, and you can't be your stepsister's keeper 100% of the time through adulthood. Given her age, Lucy needs to learn to stand on her own 2 feet and not rely on her as a crutch. Good grief, your father and stepmother are so delusional. Tell father he needs to go to therapy with his new family and to leave you alone. This is like the makings of a horror film. If I were you, I would have stopped talking to her the moment she told me I should forget my mom. Honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you decided to go no contact with your dad and his wife/daughter. Well, I have empathy for Lucy. She has crippling anxiety. She should have received intense individual therapy for it, rather than having OP have to deal with it. Something's causing that anxiety, and she deserves to have it dealt with so she can live a normal, independent life. Great you have your grandparents backing you up. Good luck with college. I hope you get your freedom and happiness away from this toxic mess. I, a teen female, am the only child in my household who does not call my dad's wife mom. I have 2 bio siblings, and I have 4 step-siblings. Mine and my brother's mom died when I was 5. The oldest step-sibling never knew her father. My other 3 step-siblings' dad still plays a role in their lives, but was never big on the oldest, and eventually my stepmom left him for that reason. My siblings call stepmom mom, since they only know her as their mom. The oldest stepsister calls Dad that because she never had one, and he was willing. The younger three call him that because they're not fond of their bio father. But I've never called my stepmom Mom. I was only 5 when she and my dad moved in together, 5 months after my mom died. She's okay, but I don't love her like that, and I don't want her to be my mom. I have some memories of my mom and I find it disrespectful. She's told me before that it's never disrespectful, and if I had a baby one day, wouldn't I want them to never be without a mom? I told them they'd always have a mom, whether I was dead or alive, and I wouldn't want them calling someone else mom. She told me I was too young to get it, so I should just follow the flow of the household and start calling her mom. My dad and stepmom met with my school about my IEP, and there it was brought up that she was my stepmom because I tell teachers at school and my aide, always did, but I guess it was brought up for some reason, and they hated it. So they sat me down and said if I don't call her mom, then they'll try to accept it, although they think she's earned that title after all these years. They said at least stop saying dad and stepmom and start saying parents. I told them no. When I say parents, I mean my mom and dad, not dad and stepmom. Dad told me I was being a difficult little idiot and asked why I insisted on punishing my stepmom for mom's death. I said it's not punishing her, it's doing what feels right to me, just like the other kids do what feels right to them. He told me he doesn't care what I feel is right. They say what is right as an adult. Stepmom said my unwillingness to work with them and compromise drives her crazy. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She has the right to have hurt feelings if she raised you and treated you the same as her other children. But hurt feelings still don't give her the right to tell you to lie. Her feelings are not more important than your feelings. And as an adult, she should understand that. You don't feel like she's your mom. Therefore, calling her your mom is an untruth. And why would you lie to people? Agree. No step-parent has the right to demand a title from you. That's earned. I love my father's wife, but they married after I was grown, and I've never lived with them. She's never been any kind of mother to me. I just call her by her first name, and we're cool. My little brother was still a preteen when they got married, and he called her stepmom, even though he lived with them full time. She's fine with that too. It amazes me how many stories are about this issue. Crazy. How's calling her mom a compromise on their part? You can't force what you don't feel, so why lie about it? No one has the right to dictate your feelings. Your father's wrong. Would he be okay with someone replacing him? And what he said about your feelings not mattering and him being right because he's an adult is absolute horse crap. Your feelings are important and matter. Even if they forced you to call her what they want, would it even count if it's not coming from the heart? They should be happy you're honest with them about your feelings. My entire family was invited to my parents' home for dinner. That included me, 38 male, my wife, Amy, 35, our 2 sons, pre-tween and a little younger, my sister, Charlotte, 29, her wife, Hannah, 32, and their son, kindergartner. My mom, 60, has horrible arthritis in her knees. I work as a nurse, and I've heard a lot about a specific supplement that apparently helps people with arthritis a lot. So I bought that for my mom to help her a bit. Hannah's a doctor. She heard Mom and I talking about these pills. She just looked at the ingredients and said none of these were backed by scientific evidence. She suggested it would be a waste of money in the long run, as effective as a placebo at best. She has a complex sense of superiority and thinks she knows everything there is to know. Charlotte usually sides with her, so there's no problem normally. This time I said no. I've heard and seen people take this, and it helps them. She said that still doesn't mean there's scientific evidence behind it. She said it could also damage Mom's liver if taken too much. I told her to please not give any unsolicited advice and let the rest of us live life how we want. Not everything has to be evidence-based all the time. It's just a supplement. She got a bit upset and ignored me the entire night. Was what I said an idiot move? OP, it sounds like you have a complex sense of inferiority. Not everything has to be evidence-based all the time. With medicine and meds, I think you do want evidence-based stuff. Good Lord. Your sister-in-law is trying to save your mom from potential liver damage and taking unprescribed supplements, which can interfere with prescription meds and over-the-counter meds. Why would you shut down a well-meaning doctor and family member giving safe advice in such a rude manner? Why should only your opinion count? You are the idiot. Let's see. You bring the latest snake oil to your mother. A doctor looks at the ingredients and identifies them as quackery with potentially damaging ingredients. You tell her to butt out because you know better. Yes, you are the idiot. Why don't you bring your mother something from homeopathy? It's just as effective, but at least it's harmless. You're spot on. You have to be very careful with supplements when you're on medications. Even safe and harmless things can cause damage when taken with certain meds. Heck, so can some foods. Get off your high horse. Unlike you, Hannah knows what she's talking about. I'm in a bit of hot water regarding Kiara's parents. So my daughter, Kelsey, 22 female, and her best friend, Kiara, 21 female, have been going out a lot lately, partying, drinking, etc., since Kiara has just turned the legal age and she can go to clubs. All is well and fun. I make sure my daughter knows the risk of drinking and going out, and she doesn't party too hard. I let her know she can always call me if she needs to, and I'll pick them up under any circumstance. The same goes for all of her friends, and I make sure they at least have my contact in their phones. However, her best friend is a different story. I don't think she was ever given the talk about what's safe to do, and she regularly overkills it. I see this when Kelsey brings Kiara to my house, and she's intoxicated. Usually, I'll get her a bottle of water and any snacks to help her, and we send her back home to her parents to deal with the consequences. However, this time my daughter lost Kiara in the club. I'm not sure how. Usually they're attached by the hip, but my daughter told me she couldn't find her. My daughter left the club and came home without Kiara. I've talked to her about this. Kiara called me about a half an hour later, saying her battery had died, but she found someone with a charger. Immediately, I left to pick her up. It was quite late, and she sobered up somewhat on the drive, so I took her straight home. Today, Kiara's parents informed me that they no longer felt comfortable allowing her to be at my house. They didn't realize she had my number and felt it was awful that I, a single dad, was alone with her while she had been drinking and took her home. They didn't know why I was alone with her, and Kelsey should have been with us. I explained that my daughter was separated from her and came home. Because she was still intoxicated, I let her recover at home while I dropped their daughter off to them. I reassured them nothing happened and that the most important thing to me was ensuring Kiara got home safely and was not taken advantage of in a taxi or by someone in the club. They're sending all kinds of messages to my ex-wife about me being a creepo, which she sent to me. I just wanted to be sure both girls were home safe. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Kiara's parents should thank you for caring about their intoxicated daughter. Going forward, have Kiara's parents be responsible for her. It's easy to make comments and blame others when you, Kiara's parents, have no responsibility tied to the situation. And please stay the heck away from her for your own safety. It seems like you've just discovered the deflective parents. They're so crappy that their daughter would rather call someone else than them when she needs to get home. But instead of reflecting on that, they decide to call another human a creepo? They're insane. Their daughter's calling a single man she isn't related to over her parents when she's in emergency need of help. And instead of wondering how the heck they failed so hard as parents, they're like, oh my God, a single man and our daughter. We must stop that. I swear, it tickled me much more than it should have. LMAO. I'd watch out that Kiara's father isn't interested in your daughter, because that's some high-grade projection. You were doing a good thing for her. Thank you for being a good person. Thank you for looking out for your daughter's friend. Thank you for going out of your way to ensure she arrived home safely. My niece, on my husband's side, May, a teen, loves the brand and recognized one of the dresses I wore when we first met. When she comes to visit me, she loves going through my wardrobe and seeing the clothing. For her birthday, the only thing she asked for was a dress from my company. My company is not size inclusive anyway, and the sample size items I pick from are usually extra small or extra small. I have seen a few small items, but as the items are given to my whole company, they're the ones that go first. May gave me her measurements, a size which, in my history of 8 years, I've seen twice in the sample sizes, but I go quite late, as my size is usually left. I reminded May that the way we get clothing and its sizing tends to run small, and sometimes other departments see items first, and also asked if she wanted anything else for her birthday, but she only wanted a dress. I asked my coworkers to look for anything in May's size and went earlier to get clothing, but I didn't see anything in her size. I got May a designer dress from a more affordable brand. She thanked me for her gift, but I could tell she was disappointed. Afterward, she found the label inside, which said plus size. My sister-in-law has yelled at me for fat shaming a young girl and said I should be ashamed of myself. But in my eyes, that's just a size, and May's size is healthy for her height. I went over to see May, sat her down, and explained our clothing sizes and the limitations of the samples, but it may have come across as insensitive. She didn't say anything to me and left after. I know now I should have said something about the sizing earlier, but I didn't know how to bring it up, and I had about 7 months to find May's size and thought I would find something, as we tend to get more samples this time of year. Edit. Our clothing is costly and completely unaffordable, even after my staff discount. I was only getting my niece something from the clothing we get as staff. I couldn't afford to purchase it. May does fit a size that we stock according to our size chart, but it runs small, which is something I communicated. She's only considered plus size in some designer brands, including mine, but is still slender. The clothing we get for free is because it can't go to retail. Loose thread, mislabeled, has a small stain, usually washes out, ex-runway or sample sizes. I had no idea the dress I got her said plus size inside, as the tags and online didn't. They don't do her size. That's how the cookie crumbles. It's not nice, but it's life. Not the idiot. What were you supposed to do? Cut the label out of the clothes? If we were talking about shoes and not a dress, this would have been a non-issue. It's the fashion industry, and you're getting free designer clothes. It's a fact that this industry makes sample designs at extra small and extra small sizes. You did your best and got her a very nice design in her size. You did right and got her something nice in her size. Her size is her size. What would be the point if you gave her a dress that wasn't her size? As for sister-in-law, if she has issues with how the dress is labeled, she should take it to the company herself. Agree. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's people that label things incorrectly. It's not fat shaming to purchase an article of clothing in the size a person wears. Whether she likes it or not, that's the size she wears. Someone needs to explain to your sister-in-law what fat shaming actually is, because it's obvious she has no clue what it means.